Super Bowl 58, Sunday, February 11th, 2024, Las Vegas, Nevada, Kansas City Chiefs versus San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers right now are a 1.5 point favorite heading into the Super Bowl. And honestly, I would flip that because I think the Chiefs should honestly be favored by about a 1.5 to 2 point spread, just because I think that they're kind of the veteran team that's been there and done that. You have Mahomes, you have Travis Kelce, you have Chris Jones on the defensive side of the football, you have Andy Reid as your head coach. And last year, the Kansas City Chiefs kind of overachieved a little bit just because they were a young team relying on a lot of, young guys, especially on defense. And it shocked some people that they won the Super Bowl because people felt they were peaking about a year or two early. Meanwhile, this season, people wrote the Chiefs off once again, and boom, what do you know? They're back in the Super Bowl. Meanwhile, you have the 49ers. They've had a really, really talented roster for a lot of different years over the past 5 seasons, but they haven't quite been able to win the big one. They're trying to get to where the Kansas City Chiefs are right now because they have the talent, they have the coaching staff, they have the front office. Honestly, if you look at things, the difference between the 49ers and the Chiefs is that the Kansas City Chiefs philosophy is pretty much the way the 49ers have run their team, except the Chiefs have kind of one-upped the 49ers. See, the Kansas City Chiefs had a good quarterback in Alex Smith, but they wanted to become great. So they traded up for Patrick Mahomes. Meanwhile, the 49ers, they were kind of in the same situation the Chiefs were in a couple of years ago, where, you had Jimmy Garoppolo. He got you to a Super Bowl, but there was a ceiling with Jimmy Garoppolo. So you felt, okay, we need to trade up and make a splash for a quarterback. Well, the 49ers felt that big splash was Trey Lance. And unfortunately, Trey Lance was just really not ready to be an NFL starting quarterback and ultimately was not able to develop at the speed he needed to in order to get the 49ers to a Super Bowl. But the good news for the 49ers is that Kyle Shanahan found Brock Purdy out of Iowa State, and Brock Purdy was the last pick of his draft class, and Shanahan loves the guy. And Brock Purdy has taken this 49ers team, taken the reins of the franchise, and just ran with it. He's been everything the 49ers could have asked for and more. But when you look at Kansas City and San Francisco, honestly, they're two great barbecue spots on the block, but it just seems like the Chiefs, as of right now, they do the barbecue just a little bit better than the 49ers because they're kind of just better to a degree. Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, that's all-time stuff. Hall of Fame level stuff. No doubt about it. Top 5 all-time stuff. Meanwhile, the combination of Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan, a lot of potential, but we haven't really seen that potential kind of pan out yet because Purdy's an unknown. He's not quite as talented. Actually, not even quite. He's not even close to as talented as Patrick Mahomes. And as good as Kyle Shanahan is, I'm taking Andy Reid over him all day, every day. Now, heading into this game, it seems like everyone is already starting to kind of crown the Kansas City Chiefs. And to me, I take issue with that. I understand that the Chiefs are currently a dynasty, and they have a chance to go from good dynasty to great dynasty by winning this Super Bowl. I get it. If they win 3 Super Bowls during a 4-year stretch, they're going to shut up a lot of haters, and they will forever go down in NFL history, not only just as a good dynasty, but a great dynasty, alongside the 1990s Cowboys, the 2000s Patriots, even maybe extended beyond that because Brady and Belichick were winning Super Bowls even after the 2000s. It'd be awesome. But everyone seems to be, at least, I would say at least 75% of the media is just fawning over Patrick Mahomes and acting as if Patrick Mahomes has already won the Super Bowl. They're acting like Patrick Mahomes already won Super Bowl 58. Some people are already calling Patrick Mahomes the greatest quarterback of all time, and I'm not there yet. Let's see Mahomes actually win a third Super Bowl before we start making these claims. Now, here's the thing. I fully believe the San Francisco 49ers will beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 58. Let me repeat myself. The San Francisco 49ers will beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 58. Now, I believe Kansas City has a chance to kind of punch first in this matchup because they're kind of the veteran team. They've been there and done that multiple times. They've already won multiple championships with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes being the head coach and quarterback combination. And I've said it multiple times, head coach and quarterback. Those are the two things you got to nail in the National Football League. And the Chiefs, they're the cream of the crop. They're the standard. So they're probably going to lay the early punches and probably get out to a lead versus the 49ers. But I truly believe that once Brock Purdy settles in, and I will say, I think the 49ers roster is talented enough to where they can allow Brock Purdy to settle in. Where if they get off to a slow start, I think San Francisco is just such a really, really talented team that they have the luxury of going through stretches during a game where they maybe don't play their best football, but as long as they get those big explosive plays, as long as Kyle Shanahan can get into a play calling rhythm and Brock Purdy settles in, they can win games. Now, unfortunately, this is the ultimate challenge for the 49ers. You're going against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, a top 5 head coach and quarterback combination of all time. Maybe, even just maybe, if they continue to win in the postseason, they can prove to be the best head coach and quarterback combination of all time. It's at least somewhat on the table. You have to at least entertain it if they continue to win. But here's the thing. I think the 49ers in this Super Bowl 58 matchup are going to play their best football when it matters most. And in this postseason, up to this point, heading into the Super Bowl, we have not seen the best football from the San Francisco 49ers. It seems like they just haven't quite put it all together. But I think in the end, when it matters the most, they have such a talented roster. Kyle Shanahan is such a great play caller. And Brock Purdy has been magical in the clutch heading into this Super Bowl. I think the 49ers can pull this off. Now, in order for the 49ers to win, they're going to have to do a couple things. They're going to have to capitalize on the Chiefs' potential mistakes. They can't make mistakes themselves. Got to limit the turnovers, got to limit the penalties, and they need to be able to run the ball and ideally force the Kansas City Chiefs to be one-dimensional. Now, Andy Reid is the type of play caller where he is going to continue to run the football even if the run game is not the best or not quite working on schedule, because Andy Reid is always going to keep the defense honest. And as long as he is in a manageable situation, he trusts Patrick Mahomes, even in third and long situations, to convert and get the job done as well as he should. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback and the best player in the National Football League as we speak today here in 2024. But here's the thing. I think the 49ers, as long as they run the football with Christian McCaffrey, I think they can take some pressure off of Brock Purdy and also maybe keep Patrick Mahomes off the field, because if you play the ball control game and are efficient in the red zone and run the football and allow Brock Purdy to attack, down the field off of play action, I think the 49ers can really find some success. And here's the thing. Patrick Mahomes, heading into this game, he is scorching hot. He is playing some of the best quarterback I've ever seen in terms of not making mistakes, not making the big boneheaded mistake that can cause the floodgates of a game to get out of hand for Kansas City. People can talk about, the Chiefs offense has made a significant turnaround. I would challenge that statement. I think what the Chiefs are doing right now is the Chiefs have eliminated the drop passes, and they have not been turning the football over on offense during the postseason. I think in this particular game, the 49ers defense can at least make things a little bit uncomfortable for Patrick Mahomes, and I think they can force him into a mistake or two. And the 49ers defense, led by Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, a guy like Chase Young with something to prove, I think they can capitalize off of some of these potential mistakes where Mahomes can put the ball in harm's way. And Kyle Shanahan has been in these situations before. He has in the past, where he's gotten to a Super Bowl as a coordinator and unfortunately blew a huge lead, 28-3. We all know about the memes, how the Falcons, lost that Super Bowl and the Patriots went on to win it. We also know about the fact that Kyle Shanahan had a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter versus Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs several years ago in a Super Bowl. The difference is he had Jimmy Garoppolo as his quarterback. And I'm not saying Brock Purdy is an elite quarterback, but I think Brock Purdy is a lot better than Jimmy Garoppolo, and I think that he has a lot more stuff to him as far as just being a stone cold killer where he needs to be. Kyle Shanahan trusts Brock Purdy. He's going to allow Brock Purdy to be the guy that Kyle Shanahan expects him to be in this game. And as I mentioned, the 49ers have yet to put together their most complete game during this postseason. And even if the San Francisco 49ers fall behind in this matchup, I think they have the right personnel and they have the right amount of good players to be able to make a comeback. So I think this is going to be an all-time classic Super Bowl 58 matchup. I really do firmly believe that. I think the Chiefs have every right to believe that they can win this game, but I'm going to roll with the San Francisco 49ers. I think Brock Purdy will play well when it matters most. I think Christian McCaffrey will be involved very early and very often, and also involved late in this matchup. And ultimately, I think Kyle Shanahan is going to steal the show. He's going to dial up his best play calls in the biggest spots. And I think he finally has a quarterback that he trusts and a quarterback that's pretty talented in Brock Purdy to where Purdy can execute. And I think the 49ers will come out on top in Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas because it just seems like everyone seems to be crowning the Chiefs just a little bit too early. I think the 49ers will take that to heart. I think they're ultimately probably the better team on paper. And I just think the San Francisco 49ers time is now. They're tired of the Chiefs being in the position that they believe they should be in because the 49ers have been so close the last, 5 seasons or so, and they haven't won a Super Bowl in a long time since Steve Young was their quarterback. I think San Francisco was due this year, and I think they finally get over the hump and win Super Bowl 58. I cannot wait to watch it. Let me know what you guys think and who you believe is going to win Super Bowl 58. Love to hear you guys' feedback overall.